Hi guys, and welcome back to the channel today. Now I hope everyone is enjoying the holiday season. Christmas is right around the corner and we're pretty excited here in this household. Now I did want to talk to you guys today about Bethesda and how I think things are going for the company as a whole. Now if you're new to the channel, I am a huge Bethesda fan. Morrowind and Oblivion really got me started with Bethesda games. I did not play Daggerfall. I think I'm going to go back and play that at some point. But I've been a huge fan of Bethesda, and not just the Elder Scrolls and Oblivion. Now, Bethesda Game Studios is known for a lot of awesome franchises outside of Fallout and the Elder Scrolls. You know, you have Prey, Rage, Doom, Wolfenstein, Evil Within, the Elder Scrolls Online, Dishonored. There's so many good games that they did make. And they also released the Indiana Jones game that I need to go and check out. I believe it's on Game Pass, so I'm going to hit that up in the next year. That's going to be on my list of games to play. Now, before we get further into the video, I am going to do a video about games I want to play in the next year and long term as well. I'll probably do that as like a Christmas type special or something like that. So keep an eye out for that, guys. But back to Bethesda. So this studio has been known to make lots of games in between the releases of the Elder Scrolls and Fallout. And something changed once they released Skyrim. Now, before Skyrim came out, they were consistently releasing one of these big titles. I'm going to say every 2 to 4 years in that window. It seemed like every 2 years they had something come out. They threw Obsidian a bone with New Vegas, and that was also 2 years after Fallout 3. And, you know, Morrowind, Oblivion, and Skyrim were all in that like 4-year window apart and stuff, and then you had Fallout in between the 2-year window of those. So something happened after Skyrim came out, and we're going to get into the dirty underbelly of what's going on here. So it's no big surprise here, once Skyrim came out and everyone loved it so much, I believe Bethesda discovered how they could really monetize their single player experience and make them long-term revenue making machines. Now, you know, I think Skyrim has been released 7 or 8 different times now, and they've had a big new release on the Nintendo Switch too. Whoop-de-whoop. Everyone can play Skyrim again on the Switch too. Now, personally, I don't have a problem with them releasing Skyrim on all these platforms, re-releasing it. Do whatever the heck you want with the IP, you own it, make money off it. That is totally fine. But I do believe it has affected them in making new quality titles. And like I said, their games are not terrible. Fallout 4 was good, story not so great in my opinion. And as much as people bag on Starfield, and I'm kind of one of them too, I found it a hollow experience in that they're not horrible games. They just lack a certain something that I believe if Bethesda actually pooled their resources a little bit better, these games would be a lot more fleshed out and a lot more interesting. And that's just my opinion on them. But lately we've been getting very diluted titles. Fallout 76, Starfield, of course, are the big examples. Now, I believe these were kind of pet projects for Todd and crew. Fallout 76, while on paper seemed like a good idea, and it does have a good following, makes Bethesda lots of money. You can see after Skyrim and the constant monetization of that, where they were headed with a lot of their titles. You know, put a game out, make money off it for decades. That's their model. That was their goal with Starfield too, guys. Don't kid yourself. This game popped out. Most of the planets are barren, empty. There's not a lot to do on them. So if they make fast travel better, and if they add a little bit to planets and stuff like that, the sky's the limit for long-term monetization on this game. If they can pull it off, we'll see if that remains to be seen. I may go back and play it again myself. I've been playing Oblivion and enjoying it, the remaster, of course. So I think I'm going to jump back into Starfield and do some more of the quests and maybe give it a second chance. Will that be a mistake? I don't know, probably. Now, just another little tidbit on Starfield. The reviews for this keep going down lower and lower. So the people that are buying it are very dissatisfied with it. And any new people that are buying it are reviewing it pretty low too. So it's not looking good for the long-term sustainability of Starfield. We will see what happens. Most people that play Bethesda games, I think, will move on from that. And if Elder Scrolls comes out and it's good, they'll move to that. Or they'll just go back to the older Fallouts and Elder Scrolls games. Now, a big problem with Bethesda's single-player game model is you basically make the game, you put it out, you make the money on the front end of it, and then that's it. It kind of tapers off and you don't make anything. Now, we're going to touch on Microsoft's monetary policy here. Now, as you know, Microsoft did purchase ZeniMax and Bethesda Game Studios. They own all this stuff. They own all the rights and IPs and everything. So, Microsoft wants their 30% revenue off of all of these games. Now, this is really going to put a lot of pressure on these studios that make single player games with not a long term revenue stream to change up their models. You're seeing it with Call of Duty now. Microsoft and Activision have come out and said they want to change the yearly dump of money in it, which is, $300 to $500 million, to a long-term monetary system where they're collecting revenue that's stable every single year off of one title. What does this mean for Bethesda game studios? Your games need to last a long time. You need a long-term revenue stream for them. I will assume they will take a cue from Call of Duty here. They will end up releasing a game that they pull a bunch of content out of it and then re-add the content later as DLC and paid sort of subscriptions, mods, all of this sort of thing. And it's going to be really terrible for the long-term success of these games. That's just my opinion. People are getting sick and tired of, paying subscriptions and just paying constantly for a product that should ship finished and you should not need to buy anything else for it. Do I think this is going to affect the long-term quality of these games? Absolutely, guys. You can tell just by how Todd talks, the lead designers for these games, that they don't believe that they can do anything wrong, and whatever they put out, the consumer is going to buy. Maybe being on Game Pass alleviates a little bit of that pressure, but I believe they are living in their own little bubble. You have to understand, Bethesda has been a darling of video game studios for decades. When they were putting stuff out on the 360 and the Xbox One, PS4 days, they really could do no wrong. Their games would come out, they'd be buggy as hell, but they were still good games and people bought them. Now, don't get me wrong, some of the smaller titles like Rage and Prey, Dishonored, Wolfenstein have not followed that model. But going forward, I don't know how much resources they would put into these IPs. I believe a new Prey is coming out. It looks kind of different than the original. If you haven't tried the original Prey, it's actually really good, and I would definitely try it out. It was one of my favorite games on the 360. I actually enjoyed it quite a bit. Same with Wolfenstein. That franchise has been pretty good for the years. Kind of had that Medal of Honor vibe back in the day and stuff. I really liked it. And the Rage games 1 and 2, I actually really enjoyed them. Kind of reminded me like of Borderlands and stuff. Not super fleshed out or anything, but they were fun for the time. Those are games I would definitely go back in and play again when I have time, guys. And if you haven't played them, I would definitely check them out. Now, what does Bethesda have on the horizon that is kind of exciting? Again, as much as I bag on Bethesda, and I've kind of bagged on Starfield a little bit, I really love the Elder Scrolls, and I'm still looking forward to that game. I'm going to be cautiously optimistic that they can pull it off, that at least the base game is there, and then if you want to put mods and stuff into it to add to it, then you can do that. I would say that's probably going to be the most realistic approach to this. I don't believe the music's going to be great. Again, the writing in the past few games from Bethesda have been pretty dog shit, guys. Let's not kid ourselves. So I'm not expecting the world here. If they can build the world out and make it somewhat decent, then I'm happy to play it and give it a shot, which I will. As for 2026, I would expect to see a Fallout 3 remaster. I would pretty much guarantee that that is going to come out. Now, I will probably jump on and play that. I don't know if it'll have any mod support or anything like that. I have a feeling what they will do is do what Virtuous did with the Oblivion remaster, is kind of integrate the Unreal Engine with the Creation Engine and kind of this hybrid. When you do that, the mod scene pretty much gets killed. And again, being that it's a remaster with just up-res graphics and that's totally fine. I don't mind them doing that, because if you want to play the old game with tons of mods and stuff, you can still do that. It's not really affecting anyone in any way. Way down the road, now this is the concerning one, is a new Fallout game. I don't know why they don't let another studio help make a new Fallout game. Let Obsidian make a crack at it. They have some of the old crew back. Now, I know Obsidian doesn't have all of the old crew back from Fallout New Vegas, but they've started to hire back a lot of the old guys, and I think they could probably pull it off with some guidance from Bethesda and Microsoft. Now, I don't want it to be the Outer Worlds. I want it to be a fleshed out open world Fallout game. And honestly, guys, the Outer Worlds 2 was not super great, but I had fun playing it. And the writing style definitely reminded me of Fallout New Vegas. So if they could do something like that, I would be totally happy with them saying, hey, look at, we can't make a new Fallout game for another decade. We're just too busy with everything else. You guys take the helm. We'll give you some input and we'll make a Fallout game. And I don't know why they wouldn't do this with the success of the series right now. The series is just crazy, guys. It's taken off. It definitely is a fan favorite, and it's brought a lot of casual people into the Fallout world, which I think is a good thing, honestly. Now, Bethesda's long term here for them making a Fallout game, like I said, guys, that's probably 10 years away. By the time they get Elder Scrolls 6 out, you're probably going to be 2027, maybe 2028 if they keep pushing it back. I'm assuming that they've started spitballing what their next Fallout is going to be. Now, will they want to allocate resources to a new Fallout game while Elder Scrolls development is going on? I'm going to say probably not, guys. So don't expect a new Fallout game to come out anytime soon. I think we're just going to have to live with the Fallout 3 remaster and the old Fallout games with our mods. Now, don't get me wrong, if you're looking at Bethesda Game Studios from a strict monetary view here, yeah, they're doing fine. They're doing good. Starfield was a good commercial success. Critically, no. Will it be a successful long-term game? Probably not. I think it's petered out and it's had its day. Now, can Starfield be a learning lesson for Bethesda Game Studios? Should be. Will it? Probably not. You know, these companies, if they're making money, they're perfectly happy putting out whatever kind of slot people will buy. Now, I think down the road, maybe when Todd retires and they get some new blood in there, maybe things will change, but it's really hard to say. Bethesda Game Studios is one of those companies that kind of, for their time, captured the essence of what gamers wanted. They wanted the Elder Scrolls, they wanted Fallout, they wanted, you know, Wolfenstein, Rage and stuff. They really could do no wrong. All their games did fairly well. They were the darlings of the game industry for so long, guys, and it's really a shame to see where it's come to at this point. So we'll see if they can turn things around and make a killer Elder Scrolls game. Again, I don't know. We'll see what happens with that, guys. Now, Fallout 4 comes out, guys, and on the heels of Fallout 3 and New Vegas, you know, Bethesda was keeping with a short development time on these games, and they were churning them out pretty good. The thing with Fallout 4 is, while the mod support for the game is awesome, I don't think it hit like the other two, and there was just a lack of good writing and storytelling in the game. You know, I lost my son, blah, 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 cliche, whatever it is. It's not so much the main storylines in these games. It's the side quests, the faction quests, the world building and stuff like that. Those are where these games hit, and if the writing is good for those smaller side quests and stuff like that, then the game is really good. So the main story doesn't always matter so much. With Fallout 4, I just did not find any of the quests and stuff that memorable, and I don't think that was just me. I think that's a general consensus among the audience here. Fallout 4 has had a tumultuous time with updates. Every time Todd and crew try to make a bunch more money by updating this game and adding a little bit of sliver of DLC to it and then reselling it again, they screw the game up royally. The mods get screwed up. The game doesn't work right. It requires patches and updates. And we saw it again with the Anniversary Edition. You know, it's like, give me more money for this game, and now we'll give you the benefit of paying for more mods. That's basically what they did. And they broke the game again. So I know why they do this. There's money to be made. The consumer is at fault here for going back, paying for something that they've already paid for originally with a little bit of extra DLC and content. And absolute absurdity. I would never pay for something like this. So if you are one of the people that keep buying this stuff, stop it. Now, that being said, it's just a culmination of things that have been on my mind about Bethesda Game Studios. And don't get me wrong, guys, I'm one of the biggest fans of Bethesda. I love their games. I just want them to be better, and I want them to come out in a timely fashion. That's all I want. With that being said, Christmas is right around the corner, guys. I'm going to be out of here. I hope you guys have a wonderful day. If you like the content, please like, comment, subscribe, as always, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.